Welcome to today's episode of Cheapskate Engineering, brought to you by Tetra B Racing. Today we're going to be doing something kind of fun. We're going to be testing some airflow meters, and we're also going to be testing some different ductwork for intakes. Say you may have the opportunity to install a new air filter, new cold air intake, maybe even a new mass airflow sensor, and you want to know if you're really getting any performance out of it. Now, you don't need a fancy flow bench. You don't need a fancy computer program to be able to do it. There's a couple simple ways to do it, and I'm going to show you how to do those here today. So, first of all, you're going to need a mass airflow sensor. So, if your car doesn't have a mass airflow sensor, well, you need to go to the junkyard and pick yourself up one. I got this one from Pick and Pull for probably about $15. Now, I prefer to use ones that are voltage-based, and I'll show you why, because it does simplify doing the readings on it. And the other type of airflow sensor would be a frequency-based. So voltage-based, as your airflow increases, so does your voltage. Pretty simple. On a frequency-based, it's the change in the frequency that does it. So the reason why the voltage is a little nicer is because of the voltage, you can measure it with a multimeter. Okay? So two methods we're going to look at today. One is using a laptop. So if you have an OBD2 port and you can have a program you can plug into your laptop to data log, you're golden. You can get to those readings. Or if you have a standalone ECU that you can access via Bluetooth or other data logging software that you already have, again, you're already set up to be able to do an airflow testing and be able to test your own intake setup to see what's the best and check out that performance. The other thing you're going to need is, the other way that you're going to do it would be, if you're using the voltage-based ones, you need a battery and a multimeter. And you can use that to test it by itself away from the car. But either case, you're going to need something to flow air. In this case, trusty leak blower. So let's get started. The first thing we'll do is I'll show you how to do it with the laptop. So we're going to go ahead and pull this intake piping off here and crank our laptop up and get going. Okay, so we're all set up now. We're ready to go. We've got our laptop plugged in. The car is turned on. We still have our mass airflow sensor connected, but we've got the piping off, so we're ready to test it. So we'll go ahead and open the program. In this case, I'm using one called ECU Talk. That is a free one for Nissans. That's the engine I've got. A lot of gauges here, but the ones we're concerned about is down here, the airflow voltage. That's going to tell us what the flow rate is going through that. So we'll watch that. We'll go for in this case, we're testing 2 tracks, so we'll go for max flow. You actually want to make sure that your mass airflow sensor is in the same orientation with the piping that's going to be in the car, because sometimes these are a little finicky and might not get the same reading. So we see there we're getting a max flow of 3.67 to 3.68 volts. So let's go ahead and swap out our tubing to a cold air intake pipe. And run the test again. All right, so we actually see a flow improvement on this one, 3.72 volts instead of 3.67 to 3.68. So for repeatability, let's go ahead and retest this one and see if our flow rate is still at 3.67. back-to-back testing 367, 372. So even though it's longer, a lot longer piping, this actually flows better than the short piping does. So we're going to get a double bonus because we'll get colder air and be able to get better flow. Now, what else can you do with this setup? So you may be able to test some other things. You could, if you want to, I'll show this in another video. You can build a box and do some air filter testing, test different size air filters, and we'll show that in another video. The other things you can do when you use the voltage meter testing, you can actually test airflow meters together. So if you take your voltmeter, if you take two airflow meters, you can put them in series like this, and with your voltmeter, you can read the flow or the voltage off of both at the same time. By doing that, what you can do is you can compare the two readings together, and you can build your own mass airflow map or conversion table. So if you're swapping out the mass airflow sensor, you don't know what it needs to, what the different flows are, the voltages, how it corresponds. You can make up your own just by checking the different flows using your simple DIY setup here. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to check the flow without a laptop. Really simple, like I said, battery, voltmeter. That's it. And of course, mass airflow sensor that measures the voltage. So in this case, I made a little pigtail just for convenience for myself. You don't have to do this. You could just put some pins in and wire it that way. It's a little temporary. You'll have to check online to find out what the different pins represent, but generally you're going to have a positive, a negative, and a signal. So for this, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and connect up my positive to the positive on the battery. All right. Connect up my negative, the negative on the battery. Good there. And the last one, my signal wire, I'm going to connect to the positive of my multimeter. All right? So do that. And then if we take the negative and put it to the negative post, we should see a voltage reading. All right, so there we go. That's the standard voltage. So that's all we really need to do, and we're ready to go. So in this case, just for convenience, I'm going to clamp, see if I can get it to stay on its own. Keep touching that. All right. We have a voltage. All right. So we're set. We got our air device and flow. Well, there you have it. Now you've seen how you can do intake tract testing at home without a flow bench, without fancy software, with a simple setup as a battery and a multimeter. And of course, mass airflow sensor and some source of wind. So hope you've enjoyed the video. Please subscribe if you'd like to see more. I will be posting some more videos with some additional testing of mass airflow sensors and some comparisons. But that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed.